Welcome to the Advanced Freelancing Podcast. Every week, you'll hear strategies for building your online service-based business your way. And now, here's your host, veteran freelancer, author, and TEDx speaker, Laura Briggs.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Advanced Freelancing Podcast. Today, I want to tackle the question of how effective is social media for marketing your freelance business? There are some freelancers who use social media marketing entirely to fill their pipeline of potential clients. And then there are others who don't believe that it is effective at all for growing your business. So today I want to chat a little bit about ways that you can use social media to support your overall marketing plan and how to be realistic about what you can truly expect when marketing your business on social media. So as marketers ourselves and probably providing some of these services to our clients in the form of things like email newsletters, blogging, back-end business support, social media management, we're always telling our clients about the benefits of being consistent and having a presence in many different channels. For most businesses, this is true, right? They may need to have a presence on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and every other platform that's out there, especially if their target market is spending time on all of those platforms. As freelancers, however, it's a lot better to be efficient and effective with your marketing. So either choosing one or two social media platforms to focus on, or creating content that is geared towards your primary social media platform, but is reposted on those other platforms. Every platform has its own specific requirements and algorithms, right? So without being intentional and putting a lot of time behind it, it's really hard to be succeeding on every social media platform at once. The way that I think of social media marketing and how it fits into my business is that most of the platforms are irrelevant to me getting clients, right? So the only one that is the exception to that rule is LinkedIn. But is a client really likely to stumble across my Instagram who's in my target market? Probably not. Are they going to find me on my personal Facebook or my business Facebook? Probably not. So I can kind of liberate myself from using those tools to grow my freelance business because they're not really directly relevant to me converting and closing leads. When you're intentional with the platform, say Facebook, you're going to need to add people regularly. You're probably sending them private messages on the platform. You're posting relevant content on your business page. You might even have a group that you're managing. That's a lot of work, right? And most of us are not going to have freelance clients who hang out in that sort of environment. Now, of course, there are exceptions. Let's say that you're a social media manager for wedding photographers. It makes sense for you to network in Facebook groups that are geared towards wedding service providers and photographers specifically. But on the whole, most people who are in really prominent freelance service categories like writing, online business management, graphic design, website design, even if some of our clients are spending time in those social media platforms, it doesn't necessarily translate to a lot of valuable leads. When you're in groups where someone comes in and asks, hey, I'm looking to hire a virtual assistant or I need a copywriter, what typically happens is that 15, 20, or even dozens of people will respond relatively quickly to that ad. The person who is reading the responses gets overwhelmed or goes with the cheapest option or goes with the person with the most experience, whatever they're kind of using as their criteria to determine what's the best fit for hiring a freelancer. That is, to me, no less competitive than responding to a job ad on Upwork or responding to a general job ad that is posted on a platform or on LinkedIn or something like that. So varying levels of success there. I mean, it can be a good place to learn a lot more about your target market by hanging out in those groups, by seeing what questions your target market asks. But it can be really hard to grow a sustainable marketing engine based on that alone. So the way that I approach my social media today is that having tested all of the different platforms, I give some platforms no attention at all. I have not posted anything on my Twitter in years. I never found that there was any engagement there. It was way too much constant work and made me feel like I needed to be tweeting things all day long. So I just let myself completely get off the hook of using that at all. With Instagram and Facebook, I maintain those, but on somewhat of an irregular basis. We post new content like new podcast episodes. But really, I don't use those at all to market my freelance services, right? It's more for this side of the business where there are freelancers who may see that content and need additional help growing their own business. Now, LinkedIn is where it's different, right? Because both of my target markets in my two main businesses are spending time on LinkedIn. So by freeing me up from having to learn and stay up to date with all of the different algorithms on these other social media platforms, I can put all of my efforts into the one that converts the best for me. And that means that I always think about LinkedIn first and then the other platforms as an add-on. So we put the most work into creating material that has good emojis, good hashtags, good length, is thought-provoking, is relevant to my target audience by leaning into LinkedIn algorithms first, and then we'll remove some of those elements that are not as important for the other platforms. By leading with where I have the best potential to connect with and convert my target audience of freelance clients, it makes sure that I'm making the most of every effort that I have with regards to social media, rather than trying to say, oh, I'm on every platform and I have a YouTube channel and I have a podcast and a newsletter. It's too many things to keep up with, right? So even though we might provide our clients the exact opposite advice when it comes to creating their own marketing plans, it is completely okay for you to say as a professional freelancer, you know what? I'm not going to be active on that platform at all. It's never brought me any client leads, or I'm going to keep my presence there very low maintenance. So on my Instagram profile, for example, I post personal things occasionally. Most of my posts are business related, and that's okay. The growth on that account is going to be slower because not everyone wants to follow someone who posts mostly business materials. But we don't create posts specifically for Instagram. We'll take that initial LinkedIn post and repurpose a little bit and make sure that it is resized. But I definitely don't post there as frequently regardless, right? So not every post is going on Instagram. None of them are specifically geared towards Instagram. I view LinkedIn as my primary place for thought leadership and possible client development. And then I just make sure that my other social media platforms look professional so that if someone Googles me, there's a good chance that those are going to show up, that they're going to look really professional and presentable. There's nothing there I'm going to be worried about a potential client seeing. And that has really helped me not feel like I need to stay ahead of the curve on every single aspect of social media marketing. So social media marketing is a lot like building a website. Some freelancers think, oh, if I establish it and I post really great content, clients will automatically find me. That's not necessarily the case, right? So it can be dangerous to lean in completely to social media marketing as your only form of generating a client pipeline, because if it doesn't pan out, you've probably focused all that energy on social media while neglecting other things like your website or your cold pitch strategy or outreach on Upwork or other job boards. So it's good to have social media profiles. You might curate them to be very specific and looking professional with your best content, but don't feel compelled to be on every platform or to be posting on every platform all the time. I had a call recently with a coaching client who asked this very question and said, here are the top 2 to 3 ways that I get new clients. And none of those ways were from social media profiles, but she was seeing all of this material and kind of basically feeling pressured to have all these different places where she's producing and creating content. Lean in to where you are most likely to find your clients and convert with those clients, and either let the other ones go, curate them to the point where, you've got like 50 great posts on there, but maybe you don't add any new ones, or add content a little bit more irregularly, maybe a couple of times a month, right? As opposed to every day or multiple times per week. As with all things related to freelance marketing, you want to measure your results too, right? We don't just want to say, oh, I'm posting every day on LinkedIn. You've got to be more analytical about it when you're looking at this from a long-term perspective of, is this helping me grow my freelance business? What am I posting on LinkedIn? What are the things people are responding to the most? Am I using hashtags the right way? Am I also adding people to my network on LinkedIn every single day so that more people are seeing the kinds of content that I promote as well? You've got to always be willing to look back and be honest about the efforts that you have put in. That'll help you make more realistic decisions about whether or not to continue with a platform. So for example, when I decided not to use Twitter anymore as a form of my marketing plan, it was very easy to make that call because I had already looked at efforts over the course of years of posting there and engaging with people and retweeting things. And it really had gone nowhere, right? I could not find one freelance client. I could not find one coaching client who had ever come to me through those specific channels. So I was in a really good position to say, I have the data. I know this doesn't work. I know this is not the right strategy for me to grow my freelance business. So give it enough time when you're trying out a new social media marketing method, and make sure you've got the bare minimum number of things to understand what that algorithm is looking for right now. Do you need to post multiple times per day? Do certain types of content perform better than others? How important is engaging with other people on that exact same platform to getting traction on that platform? And then once you've done that for 30 or 60 days consistently and can look back at the engagement and can look back at your growth, you can start to make some decisions about whether you continue at that same pace or whether you make some alterations in your overall strategy. I think a lot of times people misunderstand how social media can work to support their business. A lot of times it's not about getting direct clients. Now, occasionally people will come to me because they've just seen a social post of mine that got shared or something like that. But more often than not, it's the result of my consistent posting over time. So there's no one post or no one month in which I was really active. There's much more of kind of a collection of Laura has a presence on LinkedIn, and Laura has consistently been posting on that platform for a while. She posts really good content. I see it all the time. Now I'm in a position to hire somebody for a very particular project, and I'm going to go ahead and hire Laura to do it. So it's really oftentimes a supplement to your existing marketing methods. Creating great content for social media does not translate to getting clients for most freelancers the same way that cold pitching or job board posting or building a referral program and contacting past clients does. It is more of a slow burn and a long game. So don't go into adding social media into your marketing plan unless you have the time and the capability to do it, and you really feel like it's going to supplement the existing marketing methods that you have. It's definitely not likely to replace any of your existing marketing methods, but it can help increase the overall credibility and professionalism and perception of your business presence there. And remember what I mentioned earlier, if a platform or being active on social media is not very relevant for your target audience to see you doing, liberate yourself from having to do that. You do not need to feel compelled to have 17 different projects in your business going on at once, or being active on every social media channel or the most popular social media channel just because that's what other people are doing, or that's the advice that you're giving clients. Your business as a solopreneur or small business may be completely different. And if your clients are not connecting and converting with you on social media, you have some freedom to rethink how that could potentially work into your business to help you to accomplish your goals. So I have found so much freedom in not having to be on all of the different platforms, in not jumping into Clubhouse just because it was the hot thing, in not downloading the most recent thing that, whatever requires me to be online 24/7. You have to make those kinds of decisions and feel confident that you know enough about your business to be able to say, hey, this isn't the right fit for me and my company. I don't need to be on this platform. So always look at it with that evaluative eye. We go through seasons in my business as well about how social media is used. As we're nearing a book launch, we'll be more intentional about how we use my social media. If we're in a slow season or I'm fully booked with clients, I can step back a little bit and not worry about social media as much. So it's an ongoing thing. It's not necessarily a decision that you set and you stick with forever. Now, when you're first diving into social media marketing, I recommend starting with one platform where you are committing to be consistent on that platform, whatever its algorithms are. You use the information you learn from that to grow into other platforms if relevant, while still giving yourself that permission to scale them back or to shut them down altogether if they are irrelevant for you. In the grand scheme of things, this is year 10 for me marketing my freelance business. And looking back over a decade of that data, I have found that social media marketing helps to present that professional image and to supplement my other marketing. But you should never view that as the core of your business, because it's also content and platforms you don't necessarily own, right? If Facebook shuts down your profile tomorrow, or if Instagram bans you, you will have lost all of the material that you posted there if you were doing it directly to the platform and the following you had there. So work on building followings in places where you own that content and where social media helps to support that, but you don't become reliant on it.